Here's a question worth asking. AI can already write, plan, and build things. So why does it still feel like every project starts from zero? Factory226, a reusable institution for AI-assisted work. Today's AI conversations are powerful. In a single chat, an AI can answer hard questions, write software, make a plan, and get real work done. But a conversation is not automatically an institution. When the conversation ends, the project can lose its history, its decisions, its evidence, everything that made it make sense. A new AI has to be told the whole story again. Files pile up, notes contradict each other. Nobody's sure which document is actually the truth anymore, and the person running the project becomes the one thing holding it all together. The permanent messenger, the memory, the coordinator. The problem isn't whether AI can do useful work anymore. The problem is how to organize that work into something that can remember, improve, and keep going. That question started as an idea called the AI University, because a fresh AI model can't safely join a serious project just because it's smart. It has to learn what the project is, what's already happened, what the rules are, and what it's actually allowed to do. That learning process looks a lot like training a new employee. So here's the simplest way to say it. AI University describes how the workers get trained. Factory226 is the name for the whole institution they get trained into. This idea didn't start on a whiteboard. It came out of a real, ongoing research project. That project forced some hard questions. How does a long-running AI project remember itself? How do you tell evidence apart from opinion? How do you know which file is actually the authority when you have hundreds of them? Answering those questions for one project is what showed us the pattern underneath. Factory226 is an attempt to turn that pattern into something reusable. Think of Factory226 as a blueprint, the kind an architect uses to build more than one building. The humans in charge set the specifics, the goal, the boundaries, who owns it, how much money can be spent, what needs their sign-off. Factory226 supplies the reusable structure underneath all of that: memory, onboarding, files and records, authority, work assignments, monitoring, and reporting. The same blueprint could stand up a research project, a small software product, an internal process, or a new business. Factory226 is not the project. It's the blueprint the project gets built from. That blueprint rests on three pillars. The first is CCM. Think of it as the organization's memory. It keeps track of what the project is, what's happened, what's been decided, and what's still uncertain. It's the binder that lets the project survive even when one conversation ends or one AI model gets swapped for another. The second is Cornbrain, the training and qualification system. Before an AI can act inside the project, it has to learn the rules, the current situation, and its own role, the same way a new hire goes through onboarding before they're handed real responsibility. The third we're calling Steward, a working name for now. Steward is the filing system and the efficiency office. It decides how information gets stored and found, so the project doesn't drown in its own paperwork as it grows. Early on, we learned this the hard way. Fancy, formatted pages looked great to a person, but they got slow and expensive for an AI to keep rereading. Plain, simple text often keeps the same meaning for a fraction of the cost. Put simply, the institution has to remember everything that matters, but it can't choke on everything it remembers. Above those three pillars sits one more piece: the organizational overlay. Think of it as the office manager. It assigns work, starts jobs, tracks progress, and pauses whenever something needs a human sign-off. And here's an important point. That overlay doesn't require two AIs, or even one. It can coordinate a single AI, a mixed team of humans and AI, or several specialized workers at once. Factory 226 is useful long before you ever add a second model into the mix. Through all of it, the humans stay in charge. They set the mission, the legal limits, and the money limits. Routine work can run on its own inside those boundaries, but spending, contracts, and anything public still stop for a human to approve. Factory 226 is built to make AI more independent without making people less responsible. None of this is happening in a vacuum, so it's worth knowing what else is out there. Crew AI helps developers organize AI workers into teams with tasks, memory, and monitoring built in. LangGraph is built for long jobs that need to save their progress, pause for a human, and pick back up right where they left off. AutoGen helped popularize the idea of AI agents talking to each other, but it's now in maintenance mode, and Microsoft points new projects toward its successor, Microsoft Agent Framework, instead. There's also the Claude Agent SDK and the OpenAI Agents SDK toolkits that let developers build custom software around each company's AI. And there's MCP, a shared connection standard. It lets an AI system reach outside tools, and it can even let one AI system call another AI system as a tool. The way codecs can be reached this way. But MCP doesn't run the institution by itself. It doesn't manage memory, schedules, budgets, or approvals. That job still belongs to the overlay. To be clear, we're not claiming nobody else is doing anything like this. The individual pieces already exist. What looks different about Factory 226 is combining them: durable memory, real onboarding, evidence you can trust, and human authority into one reusable institution. And to be honest about it both ways, established tools are ahead of us on finished, battle-tested software, security, monitoring, recovering from errors, running at real scale. What we may be ahead on is something else entirely: an AI project that remembers itself, trains its own new members, and keeps a clean line between evidence and opinion. One more honest note before we go further. Some of this already exists in working form, built and tested through that same ongoing research project. The memory and training patterns you just heard about have been used in real work. Steward and the overlay are the pieces being defined right now. The Claude and Chet operation you're about to see would be one of the first real tests of the finished system. Factory 226 works with one AI. It works with a human team. It works with a mix of both. But now, think about what else this makes possible. A large language model, or LLM, is the core intelligence behind an AI system like Claude or ChatGPT. With Factory 226 in place, we can take two independent LLMs, Claude and Chet, which is Aaron's name for the OpenAI and Codex collaborator, and place them inside their own project together. They come from different companies, trained in different ways. That means they can genuinely disagree, catch each other's mistakes, and bring different strengths to the same problem. Real collaboration, not just two copies of the same idea. Here's what that actually looks like day to day. A human sets the goal. Factory 226 holds the project. In the operation we're describing, Factory 226 overlay passes work and answers directly between Claude and Chet. No human relaying messages back and forth by hand, though every exchange stays fully visible for review. They split up the work, and challenge each other's conclusions. When they need extra hands, they can spin up an agent, an AI worker built for one specific job, with its own tools and its own stopping point. And they can set up a scheduled job, work that starts automatically at a set time, the way you might schedule a report every morning or a check every hour. In the software world, these are often called cron jobs. That could mean checking a website every hour, reviewing yesterday's numbers every morning, or getting the daily report ready before anyone's even awake. The project keeps moving without either Claude or Chet, or Aaron and Noah, sitting there watching it happen every minute. So here's the actual experiment. Claude and Chet get a starting budget, $100. Working together inside Factory226, they have to find a lawful project that could realistically make money, using their different strengths, building agents and scheduled jobs where it helps, and reporting their progress every single day. Nobody hands them the idea. They have to generate options, argue about which ones are worth trying, pick a direction, and figure out what a cheap, real test would even look like. Why start that small? Because $100 is enough to run a real test, but small enough that a bad guess doesn't cost much. It forces sharp choices instead of expensive ones. The real first question isn't whether they can spend $100, it's whether they can turn it into real evidence. More money gets earned, not assumed. As an illustration only, $100 to start, up to $500 once there's real evidence of interest, up to $1,500 once something is actually working, and up to $5,000 once the results genuinely justify it. The rule underneath all of it is simple. Capital follows evidence. Sounding confident doesn't unlock a bigger budget. Showing results does. Through all of this, Aaron and Noah aren't doing the daily work. But they're not out of the loop either. Some things only a human can do, legally and practically. Opening a bank account, signing a contract, approving a bigger budget, taking on real legal or financial risk. Claude and Chet can do a lot, but they can't own a business or sign on its behalf. That responsibility stays exactly where it belongs. What Aaron and Noah get instead is one short report each day. What got done, what changed, what it cost, what's left, and what decision, if any, actually needs a human. It should take a few minutes to read, not an hour. And success here doesn't just mean the project survives. Finding a real opportunity counts. Getting real customer interest counts. And here's the one people don't expect. Correctly killing a bad idea early before it wastes real money. That counts too. Zoom back out and the bigger picture starts to take shape. The same Factory226 blueprint that builds one project could build several different ideas running side by side, each one remembering what it learns and getting sharper over time. So here's the real question worth sitting with. What happens if an institution like this can keep building projects like this, again and again, each one a little smarter than the last? Factory226.